Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. Thank you, first of all, to the organizers of the Oman Sustainability Week for inviting us to be here today. So my name is Rabab Lawati, and I am the Conservation Outreach Coordinator at the Environment Society of Oman. For those that have not heard of us before, we are an environmental NGO, and we are the first and only environmental NGO in the Sultanate of Oman. We were founded in March 2004 by a group of Omanis representing different regional backgrounds as well as academic backgrounds, different skill levels. But what brought them all together is that they were all interested in the conservation of Oman's natural heritage and marine and terrestrial environments. So today I'll just run you very quickly through some of the research and conservation programs that we run here at ESO. So first of all, we're starting with the marine turtles of Oman. So we have 4 species of nesting marine turtles in the Sultanate of Oman out of 7 that occur worldwide. 5 of those actually visit Oman, but only 4 nest on our beaches. We also work on 20 species of cetaceans or whales and dolphins. Some of them are migratory, some of them are resident. We also work on 39 species of raptors or bird of prey. So that includes eagles, owls, as well as vultures. And finally, we work on our natural heritage, frankincense or luban. We work on its conservation as well as its research and its rapid assessment. So we'll start off very quickly with marine turtles. As I mentioned before, we have 7 species of marine turtles around the world that are still alive and haven't gone extinct yet. And those are the loggerhead turtles, green turtles, hawksbill turtles, and olive turtles that occur in Oman. And ESO has been serving loggerhead turtles on Masira Island since 2008, as well as hawksbill and olive ridley turtles since 2012, and green turtles since 2016. Other than that, we've also been monitoring these populations for over 20 years. So for example, when we're looking at the loggerhead turtle population in Oman, what we've noticed is that there's a 79% decline in the number of nesting females that occur on Masira Island. So as you can imagine, for a population that is already threatened with a variety of threats, a 79% decline in over just a 20-year period is a massive decline for the species. And Oman is actually one of the most important nesting grounds for the species globally. So it's very important that we look towards the conservation of these species and protecting our natural environments. We've also been working on stranding surveys as well as beach use surveys. So stranding surveys are basically when you go out on the beach and you look at the animals that have stranded or washed up on the beach, whether they're alive or dead. And we collect some really important biometric data to tell us a little bit more about why the animal might have died and to prevent such situations in the future through thorough research and conservation. And we also include some of other activities such as community engagement activities as well as beach cleanups. And we have also had a project on mitigating light pollution on Masira Island. So turtles face a wide variety of threats. We could sit here and talk for an hour about them. But one of the most important threats is lighting pollution. So when little turtles emerge from the eggs or when nesting females finish nesting on the beach, they use the brightest point on the horizon to guide them towards the ocean. Usually that's the moon, but in our cases we've got street lights, we've got car lights, we've also got residential houses on the beach, and that really disorients the turtles and they get confused, which way do I go? And in a lot of cases they actually end up going towards the land instead of towards the ocean. And then they're subject to a variety of additional threats, such as being run over by cars driving on the beach, being predated on by crows, seagulls, and other predators. And they might also just dehydrate and die because of Oman's sun if they don't manage to make it out to the ocean before the sun rises. And we all know how hot Oman is, so it's a big threat. And some of the key outputs of these projects is the publication of scientific publications as well as awareness materials. So the 79% decline that I mentioned earlier is actually reported in this scientific paper. And if you scan this QR code, it'll take you straight to our resources website, resources section of our website, where you'll find a variety of different awareness materials as well as these papers. And a lot of the things are available in both Arabic and English. You just need to change the language at the very top. We also have these awareness materials targeted at the general public as well as children. Last year we launched this children's activity booklet, which has a wide variety of nice activities for children to engage in marine turtle awareness and conservation. And we actually should have these on our booth, so if you're interested, just come speak to us and we can guide you to where you can find them either physically or online. Moving on to whales and dolphins, we've actually maintained a cetaceans or whale and dolphin database since 2001. So you'll notice it's actually before the establishment of ESO. And it started on a voluntary basis by a group of individuals that were very interested in whales and dolphins, and that actually eventually led to the formation of ESO. And one of the species that we work on is the Arabian Sea humpback whale. And this species is actually geographically, demographically, as well as genetically isolated from other humpback whale populations around the world. So normally, humpback whales are found around many different oceans around the world, and they migrate between feeding grounds as well as mating grounds. However, what we notice about the humpback whales in Oman is that they're resident in the Arabian Sea all year round. And we suspect that this might be because of the influence of the monsoon bringing cold, nutrient-rich waters into the Arabian Sea, and therefore providing all the necessities for these whales in terms of feeding and breeding. And so they've been isolated from the global population for about 70,000 years, which is why they're so unique. And they even have a different song to the whales that are found in other places around the world. And that's actually one of the ways that we can tell them apart is through the song. And only male breeding whales sing, so the females don't actually sing. We've also been collecting valuable data such as beach and stranding surveys, drone surveys, biopsy samples or skin samples, as well as acoustic recordings, which then help us with data analysis and finding out more about this population. We've also tagged 14 Arabian Sea humpback whales, which enables us to find out more about their movement and what kind of environments they prefer, as well as what they might be doing in these environments, what they're eating, and so on. And one of the most important things that we've done for this species is a compilation of an Arabian Sea humpback whale photo catalog. So you'll notice here that each whale has a different design or coloration on its tail, also known as a fluke. So you'll see that these two whales actually have very different tails. And we use this to actually identify these whales to an individual level. So we have a catalog that has the photos of all the flukes for all the whales, and we give each one of them a name or a code that tells us when was it first sighted, has it been identified as a male or a female, is it perhaps a mother that has given birth to a calf, and so on. So it tells us a lot about these animals and it enables us to monitor them over the years. And unfortunately, very recently, we actually had a stranding of one of these whales. And it's actually one of the first whales that we've sighted. So we've had data for over 20 years for this whale called Joshi. But unfortunately, it was found stranded. And we don't know why it was stranded. We did collect samples, we did look at the whale, but we still need to find out what are the causes of the stranding and how do we prevent that in the future. And in addition to this work, we've also discovered a unique population of blue whales in the Arabian Sea or in Oman through the songs of the blue whales, which are different to that found elsewhere in the world. So you'll notice that Oman actually has a lot of unique species that instead of going around and traveling around the world, they prefer the environment that we have here. And that tells us that it's really important, which is all the more reason to conserve and protect these environments. And one of the key resources that we've published is the Marine Mammal Atlas of Oman, found in both Arabic and English. And it will tell you all about the 20 species of whales and dolphins found in the country, as well as some additional information. And this is the same QR code, so it will just take you to the same place as the one before. Moving on to some of the threats that marine and 1 minute, okay. So I'll skip the threats and I'll just tell you a little bit about the other species that we have in the country. So we have raptors, we have 39 species of raptors, and we specifically focus on the lapis vulture as well as the Egyptian vulture, both of which are endangered species in the country. And we look at their nesting. We also tag and ring them to enable tracking and individual identification. Some of the resources we have, the Raptors booklet of Oman, as well as an overview of the vultures that we have. And then finally, we work on frankincense, about its sustainable harvesting. It's a big, important resource for us in the country. However, if we over-harvest or we don't know how to harvest properly, then we could eventually lead to this natural resource declining. So it's very important that we look at sustainable harvesting as well as the mapping of these populations as well as their health and distribution. And we also have some resources. We'll skip over the threats, but if you want to know more about this, you can come and speak to me at our ESO booth, which is very close to here. So you'll find all these resources, and I'm happy to answer any questions there. And of course, we couldn't have done this work without the collaboration of all of our project partners and funders and collaborators. So thank you to everyone that has been involved in this work. And thank you very much.